This is the CHRILLCAST Live. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm Will. Oh, Chris is just going to break the whole thing.
All right, I think we're good. Hold on. Maybe. All right, am I making like a lot of noise? No?
No.
Okay. All right, good. We'll just not use the mic pop filter today. All right, sorry. I'm your host, Chris, and then down there we had, oops, who am I pointing at? There you go, this guy in the corner.
This me?
No, down at Will.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
This guy.
Will's above me now.
That one. Are you going to introduce yourself or what, dude? You going to leave everybody hanging?
Will doesn't need an introduction.
Oh, I
If you don't
already
know
introduced
Will-
myself.
Yeah.
So I was just going to do that, and then I put the wrong quotations. There we go. Now we're good.
The Illcast? Okay. And then below we have a returning guest.
Hi. My name's Ryn. That's pretty much it.
Hi. Just hi. That was what you needed to say. It was all good,
Yeah.
right? And then, whoops, I can't point apparently. We have another person who is there.
I'm Eric, also a returning guest from a long time ago.
That's right. He was on for the last Fire Emblem cast we did.
Gosh, and what has changed since that?
Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah. We're gonna get into like kind of the current state of Fire Emblem, and then also some other things coming out that are similar to Fire Emblem, like Advanced Wars, that kind of stuff. Sorry, did somebody say something?
Sorry, it was actually you.
Did
I have
you
to
say your
sign
speakers
into
unmuted?
the YouTube so I can chat with people.
You can chat. Oh no, you can't chat. in the
No,
comments.
I don't have that power.
Just me.
I can
guess
try
that's-
chatting with people. Can I? Chat?
Yeah, you're welcome to. You're all welcome
Excellent.
to chat.
We'll get the algorithm going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually I'm usually on top of this stuff, but with not having power or internet for the last 4 days, it's like, trying to catch up in one. It's like, woo. Okay. So where are we at right now? Fire Emblem. What was the last release? Does anybody remember the last Fire Emblem game to come out?
I think you
It
should
was
highlight
Fates?
the. Sorry.
What'd you
Fates?
No, I'm kidding. I
No.
know it's 3 houses. I'm just joking.
You should highlight the first comment about Smash Ultimate.
Oh, that was a great comment, but unfortunately it's already disappeared from my ability to share it.
That sucks.
Unfortunately. Or, unfortunately, I guess, state of Smash Brothers is what they were saying. The joke, the joke that keeps on giving. But here's the real question. Since Fire Emblem 3 Houses, other than the Fire Emblem Heroes updates we've gotten, what have we gotten is just rumors and leaks. Has anybody seen anything like substantial? I mean, I haven't.
Are you saying Fire Emblem Heroes isn't substantial?
No, I'm saying other than the updates to Fire Emblem Heroes.
I'm
Has anybody
The-
seen anything
The
substantial?
Pirate Summer stuff we just got was pretty cool in Heroes, but I haven't heard anything, and I don't think we will until something like really concrete happens. Because I remember before 3 Houses, there was that whole Fanny Bomb leak on Reddit where they were like, "Oh yeah, here's all this stuff that's going to be in 3 Houses," and then it was actually pretty accurate. And because I think if I recall, it was a month before the trailer dropped. This guy was like, "Oh, I have all this information," and then it was all true. So I think that's probably what will happen if I know Intelligent Systems, because I didn't even know about Advanced Wars that's coming out until they dropped it at E3.
And the funny thing is not Intelligent Systems doing the Advanced Wars. I was really surprised about that. Were you surprised to see that it wasn't Intelligent Systems doing the Advanced Wars remake?
I mean, I guess I was a little surprised. I know it's one of their properties, but because who's doing it now?
It's the same company that does the Shantae series. It's Way
okay.
Forward.
All right.
Which they've got a pretty good track record of bringing old stuff to newer consoles or doing that kind of work. Definitely no issues there, but I did think it was odd that Intelligent Systems would hand over something that's their baby to somebody else to do that work. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So 3 Houses came out when? Who remembers when 3 Houses came out?
I was
3 years ago?
July 2019, I think. I don't think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a little while, huh?
It's a day one player. I pre-ordered it but I think it was July 2019.
Yeah, it was July 26, 2019.
All right, cool. I'm not crazy.
So yeah, it's been over 2 years now since we've had a Fire Emblem, and we've had plenty of rumors. Like there was the rumor of the FE4 remake that was supposedly coming. There's the rumor from the 3DS era of the 6 and 7 remake that was coming.
Mhm.
And the only thing Nintendo has given us was the Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon again from NES era.
I thought that was
What's
pretty
the-
cool that they put it on Switch.
Yeah, I wish it
I'm
was
not saying
more-
it's
more
not
games on Switch.
cool. I'm just saying we've already had that. You know, it's this is like the third time we've had that, right? Because like you had the original, and then you had Shadow Dragon on the DS, and now you've got the original ported to the Switch in current era.
And I
You know
guess
what I
you
mean? So
could
it's-
count like the Super Nintendo one, because like the first half
Yeah.
of that wasn't that the game. Like I haven't played that one in a very, very long time, since like my emulation days. But
Mhm.
So like Mystery of the Emblem, the first half of that is Shadow Dragon, but they
Mhm.
actually removed some of the content. Like there's like 2 full campaign missions missing, if I
okay.
remember correctly, and several characters. That was so they could fit it on one SNES cart.
Mhm.
But it's funny you say that because I'm still mad about the fact that on the DS you get Shadow Dragon and then the second half of Mystery of the Emblem, but it was Japan only release. So like here we go again. You've got
Mhm.
this, you get the same one released again, and you still don't get the second half yet again in English. So it's like
Not
really
yet.
it'll come. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
it's
that's not
coming.
yet.
fair enough. I mean, I hope they
Mhm.
do. Like but they should have just ported Mystery of the Emblem to the Switch then. Like, what was the point of porting Famicom Shadow Dragon?
Because now they
to
can
the-
port 2 games and get twice as much money.
Yeah. Well, I thought the first one it was because of like the
It
anniversary.
was for the
why
25th
they-
anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, I
and
know
That's
that.
number varies.
I liked some of the stuff they did with the the NES like re-release, if you will, on Switch, like speeding up the game, like stuff that I used to do when I played it on an emulator to like make
Mhm.
it go faster.
Right.
I mean, they could have done more. For instance, speeding up the game in the Switch version speeds
Yeah.
up the audio as well, which is
Oh,
very
geez, really?
annoying.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like fast forward on like a VCR.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
exactly like an emulator.
Yeah, here we go. Now you know how SSMT fans
SMT
feel in
fans
Japan.
feel.
So the reason he brings this up, and it's kind of a good point, is the Shin Megami Tensei, the first game in the series, has a fan translation. It exists, but they have actually ported it in English one time, and it was on like iOS 8. So it was like in
Interesting.
2012, right? It was right before iOS went 64-bit. So when iOS went 64-bit, they basically dropped support for any 32-bit applications, and Atlas was like, we're not going to bother upgrading this 32-bit application to 64-bit. So like if you had Shin Megami Tensei on the iPhone, cool, you can keep it. But anybody that upgrades to the 64-bit OS or buys a new phone, you can't get it back. So it's like, why would you bother porting something and then just leave it in the dust? Especially even doing an English translate. Like they did all this work and they're like, nope, never mind. Who cares?
Because then they can wait 10 years and re-release it
Hmm.
and make a buku bucks.
Yeah.
And they'll
the
make like a
plan.
special edition and all that kind of good stuff.
Exactly.
I wonder
No,
if
it's
they
Atlas.
like use
It's
some
Atlas.
of
It
the.
can happen.
I always wonder if they use some of the fan translation like stuff. If like, like, oh, that's pretty good. We didn't think about that. Like, put that into the game.
Well, can you imagine if Nintendo like accidentally left some of the profanity in the game that sometimes the fan translations include?
I mean, I think they're a little bit more lenient in that. Like, there's some profanity in like Three Houses. Like,
Mhm.
Oh, that's
if
true.
you
That's a
play
good point.
Golden Deer, like Claude gets a nice bastard in at the end
Yeah, I
of the
think
game. and it's
Dimitri
like
says
awesome.
bastard too.
Yes, yeah, bastard, hell, and damn are all said. So we're getting there.
But,
we're getting to Fire Emblem, Grand Theft Auto Fodlan. We're getting there.
And if you're talking about games that don't exactly have, like Shin Megami Tensei isn't like a main Nintendo IP. Disgaea has been on Nintendo for a really long time, and they say hell, damn. They say every cuss word in the book.
Mm.
That's like their whole gimmick, as being like overtly sexual and very.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I've never played Disgaea.
Yeah,
This
it-
guy is an interesting franchise. I will give you that.
yeah, no, it's very interesting. So it's not unheard of for Nintendo to have non-kid friendly things on their
Oh yeah,
systems.
I mean, if
Wait,
you played
is this guy
Three
actually
Houses, if you played
Nintendo?
Three Houses, yeah, there's a lot of not child-friendly content
And-
in that game.
This guy isn't Nintendo, but it's been on the Nintendo
Okay.
console since like DS.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's been on Nintendo consoles, but I was pretty positive that it was not a Nintendo.
The newest
franchise.
one's Nintendo exclusive.
Really
Disgaea 6 is Nintendo Switch exclusive. Yeah,
interesting.
Cool.
right now at least.
Right now, well, just like Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be a Nintendo exclusive, but these games eventually get ported a lot of the times. Like for example, some of the PS2 games that were PS2 exclusive are now on Nintendo Switch, or Xbox games are now on Nintendo Switch. Usually not first party, but there have been some franchises that made it over. Do you guys find it odd that Nintendo has not ported any of the 3DS Fire Emblem games to the Switch?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't find it odd.
The
'cause
Nintendo
Switch-
eShop's still open.
Yeah,
That's true.
And
Also,
maybe
it's like-
once they close it down, but
It's also a different, console with like the whole 2 screens and like the touchpad and everything. We'll see if they port, if they ever do port it to the Switch, if they'll add back in the, the stuff they cut from Fates, the like petting.
Oh God. Yeah, there was a lot of like controversy over the fact that they removed that, and I was like, interesting.
I mean, you
Well,
can
like-
blow on the characters to dry them off or cool
Yeah,
them
that-
down.
I
So I
I
don't really
forgot
see
about
that
that.
being as far
Like, I
as the
think
step of
petting's-
petting. So it's.
I don't think petting's worse. I honestly, like, if you were trying to pick which one's worse, I don't know.
I feel like blowing on somebody would be worse.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
weird.
if somebody came up to me and like did this
They're
to
like-
my shoulder, I'd be like, okay. But if they like blew in my face, I'd be a little more offended.
Yeah, I sometimes the Nintendo's choice of censorship makes no sense, and I think in this case it just didn't make any sense. So I don't know, whatever. I do want to move to the next thing here. Is like, do you think that Fire Emblem Heroes is going to be and continue to be the focus for Fire Emblem for the next several years, or are we going to see an actual release of something
Which one are
other
they
than
making?
Advance Wars?
I mean, I think they'll release something eventually. I mean, like Three Houses came out when Fire Emblem Heroes is a thing,
But I think it also
it makes
built up the
so
popularity.
much money for Nintendo
Yeah,
and
it's-
IS.
It's
Like,
a
it
big
makes-
money maker.
It's
Mhm.
it's ridiculous how much money Fire Emblem Heroes makes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole gacha gameplay is like super addicting. Like,
Mhm.
I stopped playing Fire Emblem Heroes like a while ago just because I was like, all right, I got to stop. But then I went over to, Genshin Impact, which is the same,
Yeah.
the same thing.
I was about to say, I think like gotcha kind of systems like that have become even more and more popular, and you're just
Yeah.
getting different franchises. Like Disgaea just came out with a gotcha thing too recently.
Oh, really?
Did they really?
Yeah, the Disgaea mobile, like they're becoming so insanely popular.
Yeah,
that-
and they make money like, not just because it's like, oh, waifus and like husbandos collecting them, but it's like there's been like psychological like studies shown that like if you convert like currency to like something else, like say orbs or like, prima gems or whatever like the game's currency is, you're more likely to like spend your real money to get that in-game currency.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the
essentially-
Microsoft points. I feel like that made sense then too, because when you're buying the points,
Yeah.
it seemed like you weren't spending as much.
Exactly. You're like, oh, like, say you wanted to pull on a banner on Heroes. It's like, oh, I could spend like $20, or I could like buy and like get these orbs,
Mhm.
But I definitely think they'll make more games. Like, absolutely. Like, Three Houses was like their biggest moneymaker in terms of,
Yeah. So I have a question
mainline
on that.
Fire Emblem
Mhm.
games.
As far as the mainline games, what is the normal dev cycle between them, or is it all over the place?
It's kind of all over the place, at least from like my recollection. It's like growing up with like, not Binding Blade, but like Blazing Sword.
Yeah, supposedly it's like 3 to 4 years, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
and
hard to
then-
say, especially since the Three Houses initial release date was pushed back like 2 times.
Yeah.
Is this the mobile game you were talking about? This guy RPG?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I have it on my phone and I opened it and I didn't get a character that I really wanted for free, so I stopped playing. It's still there, but it taunts me every day.
Wise choice.
Yeah. Okay. I can see where this would be a popular thing to pick up. Whoops. I hit the minimize. So now I need to go to here and click that one. There we go. Okay. We're back. I guess the real question I have for you guys is, does Fire Emblem Heroes intrigue you in a way that you want to play it, or does it intrigue you in a way that you want to collect the characters, or both?
For me, like, it was all about, Aether raids and like the arena. Like, one of the reasons I stopped playing it is I used to like keep like a spreadsheet on Excel of like stats and like how to build characters and like how many feathers I would need. And I was like, gosh, this isn't fun. Like, it was like a second job. I was like, gosh, like I have to keep track of so much stuff if I want to be competitive, because like it got to the point where at first for me it was about like collecting the characters like when the game first came out, and then they did my boy Kanas so dirty when they released him, and I was like, dang, I love these characters, but some of them are not good, and I'm not going to win either if I use them. But it is kind of both, and I mean, I'll stop talking soon. I'm kind of hogging it, but it's
good.
like it is that perfect for a while, at least for me. Like when I was really seriously playing it was that perfect blend of like, oh, I really like this character, and like, oh, how can I build this character and make them good or like competitive or interesting? So I think it does have a lot going for it just based on that, like outside of the whole gacha mechanic.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think the base game itself is pretty intuitive and very like fun to play. It's just the gacha mechanics can really spoil the fun in the game. When Seliph came out, he's my favorite character, and I spent like 400 orbs to get him, and I didn't even get him. I got the 4-star variant of him as my last summon, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't want to play heroes anymore. It's not. I pretty much just do my daily logins and then I put the game down. I miss out on almost every single other facet of it. I use only one team, and it's a Brave Bow Gordon and 3 dancers, which is
that's
to me the
awesome.
funnest way to play. But other people are like, why do you play it that way? There's no challenge. And I'm like, well, because it's stupid. The game's stupid. I don't want to pay $50 to get a +10 Fallen Edelgard. More than $50, geez, you know?
I miss the
like,
days when Reinhardt was broken and everyone had a team of 4 Reinhardts and you just won.
Like the game is just, I think the base game, like the story is it's gotten more decent. Weird fairy stuff happened for a little bit, but it's gotten a lot more decent as time has went on with the game. And that you can tell they're putting effort in. They're even putting effort into making the gacha mechanics of the game a little less or a little more user friendly, I guess. But outside of that, putting a gacha in any game can ruin it very, very easily if you're not careful.
I find it interesting that in the days where Nintendo is saying we're moving away from mobile, there's no hint of any slowdowns in the Fire Emblem Heroes things.
Well, they'd be crazy to.
Yeah.
Like it's just doing that
so
well.
much money.
But it is funny that I think Nintendo moved away from mobile games. I think actually would be even better is if they had more variance in the number of characters that are on the field in the Fire Emblem Heroes game, because I don't like how they limit you to 4. I wish they had bigger maps and like more options. That was my biggest complaint.
My biggest complaint right now is every time a banner comes out, 3 of those units become 5 stars, and only 1 of them becomes a demote. It should be the opposite. 1 becomes a 5-star, and 3 of them become demotes, because the general pool of summoning characters is very, very boring. I'm so tired of summoning Gordon. I have a +10 of him. I don't need any more. I'm so tired of summoning Riz. I have a +10 of him. I don't need any more.
Right.
Any character that's other than 5 stars are just really boring and annoying to pull. Or what they should do is honestly just add in like 20 characters that they know they're going to demote, make them just 4 to 3-star characters, and let people have fun building them.
Yeah, Nintendo reportedly moving away from mobile games. And I'm kind of sad about that.
That's BS.
So it's a year old, that article. It came out last
year.
Maybe it's been updated since then.
I mean,
Here,
from
Joseph
what I understand.
How to win at Fire Emblem Heroes. 1, wait for the character banners to be put online. 2, save photos. Enjoy the waifus. Man of class over there, Joseph P. Excellent strats.
Hold up a second. I'm going to put Joseph P on screen. There you go. There we
go. I mean, he's not wrong. I pay like $50 for my PMG.
Yeah, I have to say the banner art and like the updated profiles for the characters have been pretty cool. It is one of the most interesting parts of the Fire Emblem Heroes. Oh my goodness, I'm mixing 2 games together.
That's the Nintendo Crossing crossover. Fire Emblem Houses.
Fire Emblem Houses. Going to this house, you got Ellawood and Roy, and choose your wife, and then you got what is it? Ninian, right? Usually Ninian's canon for that. That's right.
For Ellawood,
she's canon.
Yeah,
So I paired Ellawood with back in the day.
I think if you try hard enough, you can try to put a woman in between him and her, but probably not successfully. The one you pair up, what is it?
Well,
is
it's
it
kind
Lin
of
support kind of.
It's kind of purposefully left ambiguous, even in the Binding Blade, because Marcus in the Binding Blade has a support with someone. I think it's Lilina, not about Roy's mom, and it's like, oh, like it's a woman who had like ties to like Illyria and like these flowers. Just like when you go back, it's like, wait, all three of potential Eliwood's wives like had
Fit
these
that.
traits, yeah.
Oh man, but I'm just thinking like. It's really cool they expand this stuff because like in some cases they've actually solidified what name is the correct name canonically in the series, and in other cases they've made better or in some cases worse art for the characters, but updated HD, nicer quality graphics. And I'm not a huge fan of what they did with Eliwood's artwork from the GBA games to the Fire Emblem Heroes, to be honest with you, but that's one of my only complaints. How do you guys feel about some of the names that they have solidified nowadays? Because there are some that have changed.
The only one I can really think of is Ossian, that I just am like, I'm used to Orson. Ossian is just weird. That's pretty much the only one I can think of. Most of the time for me, it's like how they pronounce names. So like Lachesis from Genealogy in Fire Emblem Heroes is pronounced Lachesis. Apparently I'm the odd one out. When people say Nefini, I say Nefini. Other people are like Nefini. They don't.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways for Nefini. Yeah. Or
yeah.
Nefini.
And then Camus is Camus, and that's like trips me out too. I can't think of any others. But for me, most of the time, it's more pronunciation as opposed to the actual name change, except for Ossian. It's always Orson.
Yeah. I can't remember if was it Diek from Fire Emblem 6 from the Roy's game, whatever the heck it's called. I can't remember. I always mix it up. I always mix up Blazing Sword and Binding Blade.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I'm an idiot.
FE6 and FE7.
Yes, exactly. Didn't they change his name? I can't remember for a fact.
I think his name is Deke. I think it's just Deke.
Yeah,
it's just Deke.
Yeah. Probably because, anyways, I know there was another one that I didn't like, and I can't remember who it was, but I was like, really? Because when you've played all the games, you see the fan translations. Some fans have, in my opinion, some better names than what we ended up with. Although I'm glad we got Marth instead of Mars, because I definitely prefer Marth.
But Mars!
5
points!
That's another thing. How would you guys feel if in 2021, Nintendo's like, all right, guys, Fire Emblem anime is coming?
Ooh, I don't know, because like they'd have to be very careful with what storyline they did, because like Three Houses I don't think they would do, because part of the appeal is like the route you choose is sort of like the one, like I guess if they did the original one that wouldn't be that bad, or like I think like
Path of Radiance would be
Path of
good.
Radiance would be really good.
Well, what if they like partner with Netflix and had it where you could actually choose your path?
Oh, that's
like Telltale style.
The
They're too
Bandersnatch.
lazy for
Bandersnatch,
that.
Yeah.
They're too lazy for that.
I'm excited about that idea now.
Nintendo's not just going to roll up.
We'll do it.
They're not gonna drive a van full of money to Netflix and say produce this, so it's not gonna happen. Probably.
I feel like Netflix would do that, like the opposite, where they'd
you're probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, with Persona's animes being so popular, I'm surprised that Fire Emblem hasn't been reattempted. It's anime enough to begin with.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's kind of where it's been going. Like Castlevania is really good. Like if you guys haven't seen the Castlevania anime, highly recommend it. It's excellent.
Nintendo's like records in terms of a lot of their animated shows have been kind of meh. For instance, Zelda wasn't really good received. The Super Mario Brothers show wasn't that bad.
Oh,
but then like
that's so good.
I have it on DVD.
And then you have the actual Fire Emblem OST that did come out. That's
wonderful. It's perfect.
It's perfect. This is
a line.
They know it's perfect, so they can't do another one.
Yeah.
It would taint the original.
Yeah, it'd be like remaking The Godfather or something.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Imagine if we went back and we found how there's the Zelda CDI games. Like if you found out there was like the Fire Emblem CDI games with the same kind of animation style, you'd be like, oh.
I'd be all for it, I think.
Oh boy, yeah, that's right. So the next question I have for you guys is, of the rumors you've heard over the past 3 years, because there's been so many, there was the Fire Emblem 6 and 7 remake potentially, and then there was the Fire Emblem 4 remake, and then there was like some hint of a Thracia thing going on. I don't give that one much credit, but I did hear it. So I'll say, what do you think is most likely to be Nintendo's next remake, or do you think they go full on next game?
Well, if they're doing the pattern that they've done, the next one will probably be a remake, because like they've done like a new one and then a remake and then a new one. I know something I think would be exciting if they did, and I know there's a rumor a while ago, I don't know if it's been debunked, where like someone leaked something from Nintendo and there's like a file called like Shadows of Radiance, and I was like, that would be really cool if they like
I forgot about that rumor.
Tellius games. Like that would be awesome, I think, but I don't know if they would do it next.
A big thing is that the big games that people are talking about all have sequels. Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy, and Fire Emblem 6. They all have sequels. So it's like, okay, well, would they do the sequel or would they combine the game in one? And that's like a big talk because a lot of people have very big opinions.
Yeah.
Most people don't want them to combine the games.
Yeah,
and I'm of that because especially with Fire Emblem 4 and Fire Emblem Thracia, the mechanics are so different from each other that I'd want them to keep those same mechanics. And based off of echoes, they'd be true to the main original series except for just the upgraded art and voice. Now, in my opinion, it's most likely that they'll do FE6 only because Roy's in Smash. But I think I would much rather have them do Tellius, and it's not. I think Tellius is perfectly playable right now. I think the pacing's perfectly fine. The graphics look okay outside the animations being insanely slow. My only complaint with it is that both of those two games are one of the highest costing Fire Emblem games that exist right now. I work at a video game shop, and we just got in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance today. Somebody traded it in, and we're selling it for $280.
Hold on, let me call Billy and let him know. No.
We're selling it for $280 at the store. That's an insane amount of price. And then if you want to emulate those games, because they are 3D models, they can be quite taxing for the computer. And having a decent computer is a lot of money as well. Dolphin is getting a lot better about that, but I would say those two games, specifically Path of Radiance, are very, very hard for just the standard Fire Emblem player to play. And those are very good games, in my opinion. Those are one of the top games in the series for me. So I would much rather them do Tellius, but I do think FE6 and FE7 might be the next ones to come out.
I could see happening with FE6 and 7, and I don't think I've actually told Will this yet, but I think this is what might happen is Nintendo will give Japan, if they do the Game Boy Advance thing, they'll give Japan both of the games for free on the service, and then they'll give us 7, and then 6 will come later with a translation for like $5.99 or something.
That'd be funny if they did that.
Alternatively, they could do a remake of FE6 and then port over FE7 onto the Switch. Since FE7 is already translated.
No, remake both of them. Remake both of them. Like, not. Are you taking remaster?
No, remake. I mean, it kind of depends because if you have them separate games and they do follow the remake, new game, remake, new game, remake, new game, you're looking at like a 10-year time difference for those two games. At the very least. That's not considering like setbacks, if COVID gets another thing, you know. I mean, it just really depends. Or, I mean, you could have them possibly ruining the story of the original games if they do a combine. It just depends. Or making the story better because FE7 has a lot of weird things going on with FE6 where they kind of contradict each other a little bit.
Maybe they could finally shore up some of that stuff because, you know, GBA is not hard to emulate. So if you want to play those games, it's pretty easy to go back and play those games. But what I would love to see is if they took that, was it FE like 7X or something that was the fan make of
Immortal Sword.
Yeah, Immortal Sword. I played
awesome.
that one.
I
would love to see Nintendo have their own take on that and like make a prequel so they could do FE6. They should do it like this order. They should do FE6 first, then a prequel to FE7, and then FE7.
Not gonna happen, but that sounds cool.
That's
so
the span of 15 years right there.
Why? We're here debating this and watch. They're going to do like Sacred Stones, like the updated Sacred Stones.
Oh God!
I gotta admit that kind of makes more sense instead of the older ones because they don't have to do 2 games. They don't have to do 2 games in a row. They can only just do the one. I don't think they're going to do Genealogy because Genealogy is weird and that would take a long time.
Genealogy is like really long. I mean, Tellius is really long, but like Genealogy is really mature. It's It's also,
that's more
you
what
know,
I think is going to be the issue.
The style. It's it's a Kaga game where it's like here's this huge map. Your objective is like capture 10 forts and like go fight in the arena. Like I played that game Kaga just came out with. I think it's like
Oh
Legends.
yeah, yeah.
So I lost interest after like 3 chapters because I was like, all right, I'm tired of like waiting around for like me guessing at like what I need to do to like advance the game.
Yeah, I think FE4 is like the story is a little too mature for what they're gonna do, and if they do it, I think they're gonna heavily censor the original story. I also think the only way they would do it is if Japan was like that in love with the game, because I mean most people didn't even buy FE4. It was on a console that the newest console had already come out on. Same thing with Thracia.
I thought that was Thracia.
No, it was Thracia. It was Thracia.
Because 4 was sold pretty well, but Mystery of the Emblem definitely sold the best of the Super Famicom games, if I remember correctly. It was like the height of the Super Famicom was probably Mystery of the Emblem, and then it just dropped off slowly from there. Although Gaiden, I think, sold pretty well, but not as well as the OG game. Like there are some hardcore Gaiden fans in Japan.
Yeah, that play just not Shadows of Valentia. They just play Gaiden.
Yeah, original Gaiden. I've talked to a few people at Gaiden back in the day on. I've been corrected. Is it Serenus Forest? Is it
That's how I pronounce it.
Serenus Forest.
How do
I
I
pronounce it?
Serene Forest.
Like serene, like it's serene. That's how I
mean, we'll just have to wait for some duo Raphael Leanne kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty serene, seeing it's like everyone there is like dead now. But like,
I was gonna say,
when you meet there,
I don't think it was too serene when it caught on fire. But
yeah. I mean,
on the forums back in the day, there were some hardcore Gaiden fans that were like, "If Nintendo ever does this, I'll never buy another Nintendo game again." I was like, "Okay, all right."
Tellius would be the easiest to do 2 games in one if they do go that route, because the mechanics are like almost identical,
and the stories flow into each other pretty.
Yeah, it's literally a direct sequel. Like you could just.
Well, it was
like,
actually written to be a sequel, right? Because 7 was written as a prequel after 6 came out, but not very shortly after 6.
Well, because I remember when I beat Path of Radiance back in the day, you know, you get that scene where like Sephiroth's in the room and he's like, like, look at this evil stuff I have planned, and then you don't get any character epilogues or anything. I was like, what the heck? Like, I didn't like that ending, but I loved the game, and then I was like, oh, there's a sequel.
Of course, I'm still mad that they put it on 2 different consoles, because I ended up playing Radiant Dawn like way later, because I bought the Wii in like 2015.
Well, at the very least, the Wii's back. Some of the Wii's are backwards compatible with GameCube.
Hey, Will, your Illcast keeps getting blurrier and blurrier. Are you getting fading over there?
He's fading into the ether.
It makes sense that everyone else is doing it.
Will is slowly fading into the pixel form of the Fire Emblem 7 game that he's playing.
I look fine on my screen.
You're just turning into a Fire Emblem character from the GBA era. So, you know, just a couple pixels on the screen. But I have to ask you, Will, since you are one of the only people I know that has only played like 1 Fire Emblem game, maybe 2, I'm not sure. What about the series would drive you to buy another one?
Will's like nothing.
Yeah, no, that's not true. So the thing is, like, I haven't bought 3 Houses yet, and that's actually I want to play it just because I think the art style looks really cool, and basically everyone that is my friend that plays Fire Emblem is like, this is so super good. Play this game. Some of the older games really like sound daunting to me. I'm kind of like scared to play them because like, this is a really complex game. It's really long. It's all these crazy mechanics that you're not used to in any of the games you play right now. So as far as like a new game past 3 Houses, I don't know, because really like the next one I'm going to buy is 3 Houses. So I guess if there's a sequel that looks like that game and like is like somewhat similar mechanics, and they don't do like a complete 180 and do something else,
Yeah, I highly recommend, as someone who has like over 400 hours logged to the 3 Houses and is in the middle of a maddening run through right now, I highly recommend 3 Houses. It's very beginner friendly. The story's very, not just approachable, I'd argue the story is really good, like one of the best in the series. I loved it. Gameplay's great. Will, what Fire Emblem game have you played? Like, I figured you would have played 3 Houses, seeing as it was the newest one.
Actually, so Chris actually bought me one.
Okay.
And it is Fire Emblem 7, right? That is the one.
Yeah, it's the one. I got him the Wii U digital version of Fire Emblem 7.
Oh, okay.
Yep. The intro like sold me on it. I love how like you basically rescued and the girl's like You're so strong. Like, let me follow you in the battle. What did you buy me, Chris? What is this? But no, it's really good. I really like turn-based mechanics. So,
Have you beaten it? That's my next question. Have you completed?
no,
He's towards the end.
I'm
Okay.
towards the end.
You're in the 20s, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the 20s.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Who's your
Yeah,
squad?
last time I asked him.
No,
I lost my Pegasus immediately. Freaking died immediately.
Florina?
Got her.
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Overreaching, newbie mistake.
It was an archer.
Will was not aware of permadeath at the time.
Oh, really? You didn't tell him there's permadeath in the game?
I
There's
think
like
the game tells
four
you.
mechanics.
I explained it to him, but he didn't ever take
I
it
didn't
seriously.
believe it. I was just like,
He's like,
whatever.
this doesn't exist.
Well, like up to that point, I was doing so well, like I was winning handily, and then suddenly, like they're like breaking down walls, and yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I did not have that person positioned in a well guarded area at all.
I was like, "Where's the archer?" Okay, she's right next to the archer.
It's okay. In 3 houses, wyverns and Pegasus Knights are busted. You can just make everybody a Pegasus Knight.
Yeah, that's what I did in my Silver Snow run. I did Fire Emblem. Made everyone a wyvern. Easily beat every level.
But yeah, I think you should give 3 houses a shot, Will, especially knowing what I know about how you play games and stuff. I think you would enjoy that.
I'm sure I will. That's the next one I'm buying for sure.
Me personally, though, the thing that takes me out of 3 houses is like I almost feel there's too many social elements. Like I've got games for social interactions.
I got Persona for that.
Exactly. I've got Persona for that. I don't need Fire Emblem to go the exact same route as Persona. It can still tell a gripping and great story. Like look at Path of Radiance. We didn't have an insane amount of social interaction in that game, but it was still a gripping story.
I like the social interaction in 3 houses. The only
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah, the only thing
I'm not saying it's bad.
Like for me, what I sort of noticed in like I am one of the Crimson Flower stands. I actually think it's a quite really good route. Same with Blue Lions, but like Verdant Wind and Silver Snow kind of got a little long for me. Like where it's like, all right, everyone's already like maxed out. I have the best items on everybody. I'm just like doing seminars and like skipping everything just to get to like the next story beat is kind of how I felt, at least like running those longer routes. But yeah.
I didn't like 3 houses that much. It's
really?
Probably maybe not bottom 5, but it's probably one of my least favorite Fire Emblems.
I feel like you're the first person to have said that.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me. What's your favorite Fire Emblem, Ryn?
Oh, my favorite's Genealogy.
Genealogy, classic. I have mad respect for that.
To be fair, Fire
game.
Emblem 3 Houses takes a lot of aspects from Genealogy and puts it into the game
Yeah.
itself, minus the weapon triangle. But
and the children characters.
well, I mean that's every Fire Emblem game. What are you talking about? Fire Emblem 6 has your main character's 14.
No, I was talking like I mean the time skip, yes, but I mean like
Yeah,
there's a whole different cast.
Yeah.
In Genealogy though, it makes sense and it's like good. Whereas like Fates, it's like, oh, here's this baby dimension. Now there's this.
That's just bizarre.
Fates is my least. Well, okay, so I don't play Fire Emblem for the gameplay. I do like one of the reasons why 3 Houses is my least favorites is because of the gameplay. I hate how you have to replay the same map 20 times.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like
that's just lazy to me. Like they, especially since they've moved it back. I would have much rather they took another year to put in extra maps to play and make very unique ones. That's why Crimson Flower is actually like a decent route, even though it's like 4 chapters.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it makes unique maps. There's a lot more unique maps in Crimson Flower than there are in the rest of the routes.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of like how the other routes in sort of that sort of repetitive gameplay thing is how the other routes relied so heavily on monsters to like be the threat. Whereas Crimson Flower, it was like the drama was like you are fighting people that like you knew and like went to school with, and it was and like you're fighting like harder units. I thought, although I'm doing Crimson Flower Maddening because I don't want to deal with that Hunters at Daybreak chapter after the time skip.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Genealogy is my favorite because of story. The maps can get really taxing because they are huge. I mean, in my opinion, if gameplay wise, you have to include a mechanic where it auto saves every turn. The maps are a little too big. The maps might be a little too big. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And my favorite game is Genealogy. But
that's awesome.
3 Houses is probably one of my least favorites. The story to me is kind of okay. They leave themselves open a lot for a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
Especially since you can choose the 3 routes. And then to me, in my opinion, each route is super boring when I have like 800 hours on the game, because I play it when I'm just bored. And then I look at the game and I'm like, man, I'm getting even more bored as I play this game. Like, it's just, I don't know.
My gosh.
Well, I have 800 hours, so it's just move X flyer here because that's the best thing to do in the game, is to just make everybody a flyer. That's why I'm doing a Marianne solo right now, because I think it's kind of interesting.
Yes. Best
or a
girl,
Marianne solo-ish.
Well, because like you have to force deploy like Byleth and like some other units.
The Lord, So she's doing her work, but Byleth and Dimitri is there too.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's a good run.
I would love to see them go more the route of Echoes, the Shadows of Valencia route, in the way that they interacted with the townsfolk. It just feels like the area that you're in. This is what is it, the sanctuary or the church, whatever the heck you want to call it.
The monastery.
Is the monastery. The word was not coming to me. It's too big, right?
Well,
I don't want to have.
I feel like it's too small. Like I always felt like I'm only in this one corner of the earth, and like everything just conveniently happens at the monastery. At least also another point for Crimson Flower, at least there's like one chapter where you're in like a fort somewhere and you're like running around this like little fort they made.
Let me rephrase what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that area is too big of a area to walk around in.
Oh yeah.
Because physically speaking, it feels massive, and I would like to explore. Like, I would rather have several locations that are smaller, that I get to go to like different scenery, do this, do that, go to a different village, go to a different place.
Sure.
I don't want to spend all of my time in this massive structure, one map place.
Yeah, and I guess that's sort of my same problem. Like, I was like, except I just started teleporting. Like, after I did Crimson Flower, I did Golden Deer next, and like as soon as I like got to the time skip, I'm like, all right, I'm just like teleporting to the greenhouse, like teleporting to the dining hall. Like, I need to talk to this character, get their support up. Like, I'm not running around. Although then they added the Abyss, and like I did the same thing down there.
To me, the monastery is very boring. I don't know. I go eat lunch with my students 20 times.
No one questions how Byleth can eat like 20 meals.
I think
like
she just shoves it to like some of the dogs under the table or something. I don't know. Yeah, I wish there was more. To me, it looks very bland looking too. Like in Persona, I know I don't necessarily want Fire Emblem to become a Persona game, but in Persona 5 at the very least, the city is very like unique looking, and there's lots.
It's very vibrant too.
It's very vibrant. Whereas in the monastery, it's just like there's a gray wall, and here's another gray wall, and oop, I'm standing at a door until it loads in the next area.
Yeah.
There it goes. There goes the gate. I can enter into.
It's very
the church now.
It's very like boilerplate medieval fantasy, and what I kind of wish they would have done is, those I've always thought like this would be cool if they had done something in like this art style. Is when there's a new month, you get that like medieval like tapestry looking thing. That would have been cool if they had done something like that with the monastery.
Yeah.
I think
I wish the. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. You're good.
I wish the quests were different too. Half of them are just like go to X point and then go to X point.
Yeah.
You have 3 like deliver love letters to characters that are just like, why would you be in love with a character who's married, or why would you be in love with the literal saint of the church? Like, okay, calm down.
That the best quest is the one where Rhea makes you give weed to the students, and it's these kids have anxiety. Give them these bravery herbs.
Yeah.
I was like. This is pot. Like, Rhea's giving these kids drugs.
Outside of that, it's just like, take these supplies here. Go find me information here.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of them feel unique, in my opinion, and they're just boring, and you do just teleport to wherever the mini-map is glowing at.
The one unique quest that actually stood out to me was, like, the fishing contest, where every character has, like, a different fish, and it's like, okay, I have to, like, get a good fish to beat like these characters and run around and get like a little reward from everybody. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you're able to talk to them and discuss what what their fishes are. That one's actually kind of neat. But otherwise, the rest of them are like, let's go give.
Go cook. Learn how to cook. Like, get this carrot from Sedith and like give it to someone.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Chris's favorite game, Fable 3, where you had to go and like deliver letters and dig up random packages and deliver to random people all the time.
My favorite game.
That's Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Will. Like, get ready.
You're making me not want to play this game, guys.
So here's where I'm at with Three Houses. Like, I think they shoehorned in a one too many Persona characteristics. I think they need to rally some of that back and kind of tone it down a little bit. And remember what the essence of Fire Emblem is, right? It's a tactical turn-based strategy game with really gripping stories. It's not meant to be a fetch quest game, right? And I think that's where they lost me a lot of the time in the game, is when they said, hey, go from point A to point B and do this. Or it's like, dude, this isn't Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm not here to just blanket, hit objectives all the time. So like for me, it's the Fire Emblem game I actually set down the most as I was playing it. Like even Fates, I avoided all the extra story a lot of the times in Fates and just played through the main story. And that was more easy for me to get into than Three Houses, just because I'm by the time I played Three Houses, I was like, dude, I just played like 3 Persona games.
Yeah,
I can't do this
I've
again.
Never played like Persona, and like for me, ironically, I like Three Houses. Like I loved the monastery stuff, even when it was a little tedious, because it reminded me of Animal Crossing, and I was like, oh, this is clearly Nintendo like trying to borrow some like ideas from like other games. And I like that they tried to do like the whole like school mechanic where you were like a teacher.
Oh, I like that.
That was
idea.
awesome. Like,
I feel like it's they either have to go full front and then actually dedicate a lot of time to making very unique stories with everybody. They could do less quests and more events that happen with the students, especially since in Fire Emblem Three Houses, the roster is huge, but at the same time, it's relatively small. Like you have a lot of time to shoehorn in events with each student because you get almost all your units at the very forefront.
Yeah.
There's another reason why I kind of am iffy about Three Houses, because I liked in the other Fire Emblem games you have to shove Sheeta into like a knight and then he falls in love with her, so he joins her army even though she ends up marrying Marth, so it's like I like that about old Fire Emblems, and this one you get almost everybody, and if you can't recruit them right out the gate, you just need to wait or get a B support level with them.
I liked, and like sort of in that same thing, like from a writing perspective, some of the characters are really shortchanged. Like some characters get so much like to work with, and other characters like Ignots are just like completely one note, uninteresting. Like
a lot of that is the fact that they have 3 lords to write with, and each lord has to have a very unique and complex story, or it makes that
the lords were great. Like Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri, I loved, and like Marianne is low-key, I think, the best written character in the entire game. Especially
since she actually changes from the first game to the second. Like in personality and overall demeanor, you can see a visible change. But with the rest of the characters, because they put so much writing into the lords, and then Byleth, that's another thing I don't like about Three Houses.
Yeah, Mecha did a really good video about Byleth being like a silent-ish protagonist and how that kind of doesn't work. It was like they should have just like had a personality and like a character and like spoke.
Yeah, it's either actually make them a character that you just follow their storyline, or make them a protagonist to where the story does not revolve around them. Like that annoys me so much about Fates too and Corrin. I hate Corrin, and I hate
Corrin. The Corrin worship in Fates like really made me dislike it. I was like, okay, I get it. Like. And like when you think about it, like why would anyone care about Corrin? You're like some orphan that got found and are locked in a tower, and everyone is just inexplicably, wants to bang you. Like even your siblings, siblings that are like, it's really creepy, and it's like okay.
People that
Nintendo is just ahead of the game.
People you do your siblings since birth want to just always be with you.
Have you guys seen that meme? Have you guys hold on? I want to pause.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Have you guys seen the 2020 meme from the Kiss Cam in Major League Baseball? Have you guys seen it yet?
No.
Okay, there was a meme in 2020. It was like it said Kiss Cam, and in the first frame it goes, "But she's my sister," and then it says the audience is like, and this is like 2016 or something like that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, all good." And then this is 2020 Kiss Cam. "This is my sister," and then the audience is like, "Even better." Like what?
They would love genealogy.
They would love genealogy.
But the one thing that I did like about
that's what made me think about Fates.
The only character, ironically, who has like at least from like a writer's perspective, like a actual real reaction to Corrin is Takumi. It's like you show up, you murdered my mom, and everyone else is like, "Oh, it's okay, we forgive you. You didn't know what you were doing." And he's like, we never met this person and they just like killed our mom. Like, I don't like them. Yeah.
Well, and then even that bothers me because I feel like 4 chapters into Birthright, he's just like, "You're pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like you," and it's
I
like,
didn't play
no.
Birthright. I've only played Conquest.
Yeah, see, and like when you get to Kumi, he still kind of hates you, but he's like, "Yeah, you're fine." Nah. And it's like, no, that okay. I don't know. And
I
then
can't find the meme.
I think like in terms of modern day Fire Emblem, Robin's probably the best written character that you want to have like be
like
you.
as a main character. Yeah, I would agree because like Robin was like, I mean, they're an amnesiac, you know, and I guess you can only do that
like,
trick like once, but like it worked in, you know, Awakening.
Again, especially since for the majority of the first part of the story, it doesn't revolve around Robin. Like it's only at the halfway point of the game is it like
where you realize like, oh, that's who
he's
Robin
like the
is.
major person and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's lame. I want Robin to just be like Crom's very good friend, or in my case, husband.
Yeah.
Hey, can we react to this article real quick live on stream?
Yeah, absolutely. What article?
Bring it up.
This is how long it takes to beat each Fire Emblem game, and this is from Game Rant. So I'm curious what you guys think of these hours. So it says for Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, 1990, main story 27 hours. Does that seem long or short to you guys?
Seems short, but then again, I haven't played the first one in a long time. The one that seems really short is Blazing Blade, 49 and a half hours to complete. I'm sorry, that is not even close. If you're playing Hector mode and trying to get all the Gaiden chapters, it's going to take you way longer than that.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're playing all 3 modes, that's going to be...
Also, Path of Radiance, main story, 33 hours? No way. Like, that game is
adding
long.
animations on? Hold on.
Yeah.
Path of Radiance, it actually matters.
Sacred Stone sounds all right. I feel like if you were just going straight story, not doing the tower or anything, I think you could do Sacred Stones in like 25 hours.
I don't see
Binding Blade feels really short too. Although
here we
I guess
go.
you're not
here's
in
the modern
400
one
hours.
Here we go.
Wait, Radiant Dawn is a modern one, and Path of Radiance is.
Yeah, Path of Radiance is not. This is like classic.
Okay, whatever.
And Dawn.
42 and a half hours for Radiant.
That seems short. That seems really short. I don't know.
That's because people are tired of seeing narrative.
Yeah, are they just skipping the dialogue? Because like Radiant Dawn is like a novel. Like
it's
it
because
is
they're
so
skipping
long.
what Micaiah says, as they should.
No, I disagree. I love Micaiah, and I know I'm in a small camp there, but like
no, you are not. I'm in a small camp. Most people love
really.
Micaiah.
I thought a lot of people don't like Micaiah.
No, most
I
people
see so
love
many
her.
memes where it's like, oh, she's a mage in a game where mages suck, and I'm like, fair.
Oh no, she's just not the best unit. That's normal with lords in Fire Emblem.
Let's see.
Yeah, there's
Shadow
very
Dragon,
few lords that are the best.
Mystery of the Emblem, Awakening, 30 and a half. I could see that. Like, I could see that for Awakening if you're just like powering through.
Yeah, I would agree.
Same with Fate. I feel like if you're just, you know, not really
Going
caring about
through
the
the
side
main
stuff,
story,
Fates sounds right. Shadows of Valentia, I don't know. I feel like it gets really long, especially Celica's route where you're going through swamp maps and it gets very grindy. 35 seems a little short. 3 Houses 48, no.
That's wrong. It took me like 70
dead
hours.
wrong. All right, so
playthrough.
Crimson Flower, my first playthrough took me 80 hours. Golden Deer took me 120 hours. I did 100 hours on Blue Lions and then 100 hours on Silver Snow, and then like 50 hours I probably spent on the Ashen Wolves because I like did hard first, and I was like, oh, you're limited. You actually have to like think.
Yeah, no, it really
just,
depends.
Like, yeah.
On 3 Houses, because the 3, especially with Crimson Flower and at all the other routes, Crimson Flower is 4 chapters shorter. So I feel like it really, in that category, they should have put each individual route.
Yeah.
And then like a average story completion rate. And then it also depends on like, what does main story include? Like talking to every single person in the monastery?
Yeah.
Or is that a completionist thing? You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, I almost feel like these main story runs are just like speed runs.
Yeah, are you doing a low turn count run? These are these
what
LTC
what they do? Just look up all of Mecha's runs, and they're like, oh, these are the average.
No, that's Kirby Master. He's the fast guy. He beat 3 Houses in like an hour, I think.
What?
Really?
Something like, maybe it was like 3 hours.
I thought Mecha did it really quick. I thought Mecha did Crimson Flower really quickly.
Yeah, I saw these numbers and I was like, this is like way off. Like, how do you?
Yeah,
how did you get
Sacred
these?
Stones. I agree for the. That one I think is right. Yeah.
But if you want
So-
to, but then I look at the Sacred Stones. It says 44 hours completionist. Did they do any of the lagged out ruins?
Yeah, lagged out runes takes a.
It takes a long time, and you have to
Especially
play
if you want
through
to
the
get
entire.
Lion. If you want to get Lion, like it's like you
Don't you
gotta
gotta
do
beat
it
the game
10 times. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirby Master completed 3 houses in an hour and 10 minutes.
Holy
Yeah.
cow!
Oh, how did he do that? Was he just doing like Crimson Flower, skip everything, only Byleth and Edelgard? Like what did
He
he
has
do?
like in each individual one. With Verdant Wind, it took him an hour and 17 minutes. Crimson Flower, an hour and 10. With Azure Moon, it took him an hour and 20.
My
and
goodness.
Interesting. Verdant Wind was the long one for me. That one, just because there's so many chapters and like so much stuff happens.
He
and
must have had to,
Silver
like,
Snow, he took an
pre-plan
hour
all-
and 25 minutes.
I
He
could
must
see
have had
that.
to pre-plan every move.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
what I had to do with
written.
in my maddening run. I like wrote down like what I wanted like each character to be, like what I was gonna do, and knowing that like in maddening, you know, once you get to the halfway point, the game gets considerably easier, if you will, just because like in Crimson Flower, like right now I don't have a tank, and I will not get a tank until later.
So I do think here's my opinion on the Fire Emblem franchise, and Will, you can chime in if you agree. I think there are some barriers to
I
entry
agree.
on Fire Emblem
There we
that
go.
that are in the earlier games of the series. They're there, and I think with the newer games, a lot of the difficulty bars or like even just the nuance of some of the gameplay has been simplified to the point that any player can pick it up and play it.
Mhm.
And yet at the same time, the skill ceiling in Fire Emblem has gone up a little bit.
The skill ceiling.
Yeah, like there's like that, not skills as in skills.
Oh
in,
yeah,
like,
sure.
like the skill of players.
Like
has
I mean,
gone up.
3 houses I would say is deceptively easy, but at the same time, if you know what you're doing, you have every tool available to break the game and make it kind of a joke. Like hard new game plus like was super easy, even on Silver Snow.
Yeah, I'm doing a Marianne solo, and I'm kind of meh through it. I'm doing
Really?
it on
On a
normal classic just because
solo?
I wanted to see what it was doing. But Marianne's like level 40, and the Emmys are level 25.
Oh yeah,
so
well
it's
you're
like-
also getting all the experience if you're doing like
you-
a solo run.
Yeah. But then like you also have the Mila's Turnwill or
Yes,
Sothis is
the
whatever
Divine
in the newest
Pulse.
2 games. Yeah, so you can, if you make a mistake, you're able to turn back time.
And that's something I wish if they do
Turn
remake
back
Path of
time.
Radiance, I hope they do that, because Path of
Oh,
Radiance
yeah.
sometimes you would get like 15 turns in and then you know something happens like, well, now I got to replay all of
Yeah,
that.
no, I agree. And like with especially with the newest one, you're able to literally turn back to turn 1 if you mess up that bad.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
it's just, it makes it really, really easy.
Mhm.
I would say like the hardest new game that's come out Fire Emblem wise is probably Conquest.
Yeah,
because it's
I would
decently
agree.
difficult. And it has a decent gameplay too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I did enjoy Conquest.
What was that? I had something I was going to say.
Oh. Can I chime
Do you
in
think
real
that
quick,
yeah, go ahead.
So as far as like a barrier entrance, I think for me as like a pretty newer player is not being able to get all the games on one system or like say like 2 systems. It would be really nice if they would actually release a couple, like maybe multi-packs or something. I realize that's maybe blasphemous, but I would love to be able to play. I like playing like the first game and then going
Mhm.
through a series.
Mhm.
I hate starting in the middle and not knowing all the characters on all the mechanics and
Yeah.
then like being filled in by YouTube videos or something because I can't buy the game on the GameCube. So it just, that bothers me.
Yeah, with Fire Emblem, you're a little lucky in that regard because each game is a different world. Like they're
Okay.
not. Well, certain games are sequels. Like, you know, New Mystery of the Emblem is like a sequel. Like we were talking about, 6 and 7 are sequels. Like Path Radiance or Dawn are sequels. But a good half of the games are like
Mhm.
their own
One-offs.
one-offs. And like
Mm.
Fates is like, think of Fates. I'd describe it's like Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow. Like, you know, it's like it's generally the same story. There's just like different flavors of stuff. that
Unless you get
happens.
the triple pack on one cart.
Oh, you
like
get
I did.
Revelation. If you suffer through Revelation, which I have no interest in doing.
No, I'm saying
Revelation
there's the triple pack. Like you could get red, yellow, and blue on one cart. Remember, like the
Oh, I thought you were
the-
talking about because I
the
know
special edition or whatever you want to
because
call
I know
it.
you could get like Revelation. I think whatever one you didn't get like as a DLC. Because I remember when you beat Conquest, like, oh wow, wish you would have got the true ending at the end of the game. And I was like,
if you bought Birthright or Conquest, you could get Revelation for like $10 off on the eShop.
Yeah.
You can get it physical, which is what Chris is talking about, but it's only you can only get it physical if you buy the Fate Special Edition, which right now is going for like $200 or $300.
Thank God I got it for like 80.
Yeah, I'm lucky I got it like 2 years ago, but it's super expensive right now. Not as expensive as Path of Radiance though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is Radiant Dawn more expensive than Path of Radiance, or are they about the same?
No. Radiant Dawn is like 100.
Oh,
okay. It's like 100. It was like 100 last I checked. Did it drop?
I don't know. I can check real fast. Last time I checked, it was like 60 to 80. Before, like, what really took them to where they are was COVID. Prior to COVID, they turned to be like they would go like this, depending on what game was more expensive or cheaper. But now it's like Path of Radiance.
Yeah, everyone's in their houses like gaming. So yeah, everybody's
in their 3 houses.
Yeah, so it depends on whether you have it complete or not. But the base game goes for like the complete in box goes for like 100. Loose it goes for 80.
Okay.
Okay. I've got the complete in box. That's probably what I was looking up.
But yeah, Path of Radiance goes for like 180. It's ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, I think you can get.
Is there a reason why? Is it just like a rare game to find? Because like I still have my copy. Are people? I have
an explanation for you, Eric. Basically, right now we are at the height of nostalgia for people that had a GameCube growing up. Like you and I are like people that have just hit like some kind of spending money in their lives. Like they're out of college. They're like having the nostalgia. Now. They're buying a GameCube again. Like, oh yeah, Path of Radiance. Like, whoa, because it was already kind of a rare game, and now that people are like, okay,
it didn't sell very well, which I thought was sad because I loved that game.
No, yeah, Path of Radiance didn't sell very well, and to sum up, like the reason why Path of Radiance is so expensive right now, GameCube.
Yeah, exactly. GameCube's at the height of its pop. Like, I don't think GameCube games will ever be higher priced than they are now, and it'll probably stay around that price.
That's
the price. Go ahead.
Honestly, that's to say, like, pretty much any system, that's what that's like right now, except for the newer consoles. SNES, NES, all of those games have shot up way in price. And the main culprit of that, honestly, is COVID.
Well, before the COVID, though, those were starting to come back down, and GameCube was on the rise.
Oh, yeah,
GameCube
definitely.
And
Wii. Okay. Like, honestly, if you're collecting games and you just started out, you're kind of shut out of luck. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like trying to buy, like, a car or a house right now. Like, everything's super expensive.
The only game I overpaid for was Revelations Persona, and that's because it was the only Persona game I didn't have.
There's no overpaying. If the game isn't being made anymore, there's no overpaying. There's no overpaying. It's just the market value.
Speaking of games that are getting remade, since we've kind of killed that subject to death on Fire Emblem, how do you guys feel about the Advance Wars remake coming to the Switch?
I think it'll be fun. I liked Advance Wars a lot as a kid. It's very different from Fire Emblem, of course. Like there's no permadeath. It's more of a standard like turn-based like strategy game. I always liked it. I think it'll be a good hit.
I'm excited because I've never played the series before, and it looks really cool. So I'm just thing is like I feel like I'm getting into this point of life where I'm moving away from just playing Halo. And like the last like 3 years, I've branched out tremendously, and like there's this whole plethora of games I've never heard of or never played, and it's very exciting.
So that's interesting because I feel like I'm doing the opposite. I'm branching out of like yes, only Halo. I guess I'm doing the same thing, just with the opposite types of games. I'm branching out into games where I was like Nintendo based solely. Now I'm actually going to first person shooters. I've always hated first person shooters beforehand.
Yeah.
How far are you in Dead Space now?
Oh, I stopped after that one stream.
Oh, did you? Okay, I thought you kept
only, and it's only because it's on PC, and I just don't PC game unless I am like doing something like what we're doing now, or streaming, because I'm lazy and I like to play games in my bed. That's why I was a Nintendo person almost all the way up until my 21st year of living, because I was able to have a handheld system just in my bed, like doing whatever.
So I will say this: having children will make you go back to doing more handheld gaming again because they hog the TV to watch Blippi. But I have found that literally, if it's not a portable system, I'm basically not playing it. It's like the Switch, the Vita.
Well, the Switch I play because I play it on my TV. I used to be like Ren, like lazy only Nintendo handheld, but now I'm like PC all the way and have been for like the past like 5 years.
I'm about to have a reawakening on the PC via the Steam Deck next year.
Yeah, I was about to say the Steam Deck's coming
Steam
out
Deck
soon,
is coming
so-
out. That's right.
I am getting that. I'm not getting a next gen console. I'm getting a Steam Deck, and that's how I'm going to play Halo Infinite.
Okay.
I just got the Master Chief collection. Like someone gifted it to me the other day, so I'm gonna be
Nice.
coming back to Halo, going back to my roots.
Exciting times. It's changed a lot since it first launched.
Wait, here's a question for you, Eric. Did you play Halo first or Fire Emblem first?
I played. They were kind of the same summer. Like it was kind of the same point in my life where I played Fire Emblem, 7 when it was just Fire Emblem on the GBA, and
right.
I used to have Halo Combat Evolved on a CD on a computer.
Yep.
I didn't have an Xbox, so I'd play it on the computer. And I remember playing online with like people, like for the first time, like that, because like Combat Evolved on the computer then had like a huge multiplayer cap at the time. It was like 30 on 30 or 32 on 32, and I was like, this is nuts! Like running around like Blood Gulch and Warthogs and stuff.
Yeah, I remember some of that too back in the day. Eric and I actually used to share games back in the day. We had, shared Battle for Middle Earth.
Battle for Middle Earth was really good. I borrowed Fire Emblem from you, and then I bought my own copy.
That's right, yeah.
And maybe Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, like we borrowed it from each other at one point.
Yeah, that was I think we both were interested in that because it was a tactics game like Fire Emblem.
Yeah. I liked Fire Emblem. I had Fire Emblem Tactics. Fire Emblem Tactics. I liked.
That's the new game. That's the
yeah,
new
that's
game.
it. It's a Final Fantasy Fire Emblem
Tactics.
crossover, like they did with Kingdom Hearts. Now they're doing it with.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine if they did a crossover between Kingdom Hearts and Fire Emblem? You got like Mickey Mouse and like
it'd be
Goofy
more
and...
it'd be more convoluted and a lot darker than Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts gets pretty dark, if I remember.
Like that. Actually, I want that now. I want Kingdom Hearts Tactics.
All the characters would just have huge shoes.
Huge shoes.
I mean, it wouldn't be any more...
Mickey would come out in this like cult.
Mickey's your
and
lord.
be like,
oh my goodness,
say,
your lord.
He'd be like, "Say, fellas, have you heard of the Flame Emperor?" Like,
Toodles.
Oh my
have you guys seen that?
Toodles. Oh my
have you seen that meme where it's Mickey where he comes out in like the second like Kingdom Hearts? He's like, "Have you guys heard of the Darkness or whatever?" And it cuts to him and he's like wearing this like cult hoodie. It's so funny. It's like comedy gold.
I want the Fantasia version of Mickey.
Fantasia Mickey, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey.
Exactly. That one. That's the one I want. He could be like Lord Pent from Fire Emblem 7.
Yeah, Mickey would be Sage, like full stop, if he were a class. Goofy,
Anyway,
what would Goofy be? We're gonna do Disney characters as their Fire Emblem class.
Do you want to go down this route?
Goofy would be a brawler.
He'd be a brawler.
I see it. Yeah.
And then, Pete's the brawler.
No, Pete's the armor knight. Oh, I was gonna say if Pete was playable, I feel like he'd be an armor knight.
Pete's the Black Knight. Isn't that the right name?
Enemy other.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. Like in Radiant Dawn, he's a good guy sometimes.
He's the visiting character.
Yeah. Then we got what would Pluto be?
Oh, cavalry of some kind, or Lagoose if they had Lagoose units in this.
Well, that would be all of them.
Game.
I guess Pluto would be the most.
Oh yeah, I guess they'd all be Lagoose. They're all animals.
Let's see. Who else? Who else? Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck? We're going Looney Tunes.
Daffy, oh god, Donald Duck. Got the crossover of the century. Got the
He's a
Looney
duck.
Tunes
He'd be like a wyvern rider.
Oh, I was gonna say like fighter, like warrior, like
I was
fighter,
gonna say Pegasus Knight,
axe wielding,
he's
DPS
like
class.
He's a guy. He can't be a Pegasus Knight.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
only
Minnie.
that one guy.
Minnie's probably a troubadour, actually. Like if we're going.
Yeah, she'd be a healer.
Yeah.
What's her name? The chick duck? I don't know.
Oh, Daisy Duck.
Yeah,
Daisy.
she'd be a Pegasus Knight.
Yeah,
There
And
you go.
he'd be a wyvern
Pegasus
rider,
Knight,
and then
for sure.
they'd be like paired. And then if she dies, he leaves.
Yeah, it's like Pent and Louise. One,
Yeah, vice
one
versa.
dies, one leaves.
But instead, he just gets pissed off and cusses Mickey out.
There's a really great joke about Mickey and Goofy that I can't repeat on YouTube, so it'll probably get this demonetized. But it's
My
hilarious.
mind obviously went to the worst place.
I can tell you guys.
I think maybe I know what you're talking about. Actually,
I can tell you
think
guys
I
a
may
joke
know
after
this
this.
joke.
I can tell you guys the joke after the stream's over, but I'm just thinking about this now that you guys are talking about it.
All right, we'll leave it to the chat. Chat, should we get this video demonetized? You got super chat though.
Yeah, super chat demonetize.
Super chat,
I'll
we'll
tell you the
demonetize
joke.
it. We'll go X-rated.
We won't go multiple X-rated.
We'll make Filthy Frank look like Coco Melon. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay, let me see here. Do you guys think that the Fire Emblem community on YouTube is growing or getting smaller over time because of the fact that there's not a new release?
I don't know. Like, I haven't really kept up with like the Fire Emblem community in a while. I beat like Silver Snow, and then I started a maddening run a couple months ago. I've kind of been distracted with Genshin Impact, so now I'm like on that side of YouTube. So I don't know what's been going on in the Fire Emblem community. I have no clue.
I think the best way to gauge it, honestly, not to toot my boss's own horn, is Mecha's channel growth, because he is the Fire Emblem YouTuber who almost only does Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I'm still subscribed to Mecha. Let's see how he's doing.
Too,
all right, let's go. We're gonna plug. This is the Mecha fan chat, now the Mecha fan club now. Hey, he's at 66.3K. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know he's getting really high up there. I mean, consistently he gets about like 100 plus subscribers a day.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, he like you. I know you, Rin. I've only seen one thing you've done before, and it was Faye Mata's stream where Xanthi came on.
Yeah. And
you made like a joke about Seta. That's like the only thing I've like seen you in. But I know Mecha was there and like Fargast was there. It's like, holy cow! Like the community's like interacting with like the voice actors now. That's really awesome. That's like the last thing. I'm aware of.
Yeah. I think Three Houses is a huge game, and it only recently got to the point where it was the best-selling Fire Emblem. And I think as long as it keeps being sold new, especially, it'll only continue to grow. Especially since those people who are into the fandom will hopefully play other games, and then as soon as a big release comes out, it'll be and like again, Three Houses made Fire Emblem a main Nintendo IP. Beforehand, it was just kind of something that Nintendo did as like a side piece. Now it's like one of their main things. Like Fire Emblem's one of the first things that comes to mind. So as soon as another one comes out, that's going to be a big issue, like a big Nintendo release of that year.
Easily.
So that'll just again revitalize the fandom, and it'll keep going as long as they're being made.
I even thought Three Houses was a big release because like everybody had like theory videos and like breakdowns of what people knew, and they were getting like lots of views if I remember, because I was watching them like every day. I was like, all right, I need to prepare. I was so excited. Ordered like Three Houses special edition, like I have the pins and everything, and I was like, I'm devoting my time to this game, and I did not regret it. It was probably my favorite release in 2019, like of the games that came out that year.
Maybe I should explain my question a little better.
Oh sure, yeah.
The way I meant it was Nintendo itself. I don't feel like they are, from a first party perspective, doing what like 343 does for Halo, or like what Atlas does for
look what
Persona.
They did with Metroid. Like they just like after like 8 years, 10 years, like that was like a main Nintendo IP back in the day, and then they just kind of like stopped doing it. And now like, Metroid Dread, which I am very excited for Metroid Dread, but
I'm looking forward to that. But what I'm saying is like Nintendo does nothing to build their own communities.
Well, I will say that it's kind of unfair to compare it to things like Halo, because Halo is a system seller. Like people will choose Xbox over Sony because of Halo explicitly. I can't say the same thing for Nintendo. People choose Nintendo because they like to play Mario. People choose Nintendo because they like to play Zelda. And the 35th anniversary was this year, and they honestly really didn't do much for Zelda. But the fandom is still like as vibrant as ever. In terms of like, Nintendo is very notorious for not giving any updates at all for new releases. I mean, Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and not Platinum, Arceus are coming out, and they're doing like something tomorrow or something about it. But it's 2 months before the game comes out. And we have yet to really hear anything about it except for the first initial release, There's 4 now.
4 houses.
But yeah, so I think
I'm in Hissy Hey.
I think Nintendo is just very notorious for never building up hardly any of their games.
They don't.
Yeah.
But it's because they know it sells regardless.
Yeah. they've got that sort of like old school mentality, I guess.
They have,
because they are an old player in the game market,
and they have that loyalty too. Honestly,
Mhm.
like I will never not buy a new Nintendo console, and that's just
yeah.
they have me like brainwashed.
Fair.
You know, they have me like.
Well, you just know there's going to be
like-
quality games on a Nintendo set console. You know that there will be quality games on Nintendo.
Well, but then you also know that there's going to be FPS drops constantly, especially on the newest Switch. I mean, you cannot play The Witcher on the new Switch. I don't know how they got it functioning. I was really waiting, and I was really hoping that they were going to
Forgot they
Cyberpunk
ported
for
The Witcher.
Switch.
I enjoyed The Witcher. I played through the whole game and enjoyed it. It looks like a 360 title, but it's still good.
I played. So a big thing for me right now, which is very sad to say, it's a guilty pleasure, is I play Apex Legends a lot.
Ooh,
And
that's
then-
a fun one.
As a joke, I downloaded it and played it on the Switch the other day.
How
and
is it?
I booted it up and I went to the training grounds and I'm like, man, it looks like a PS2 game. And I didn't know this, but you can have motion controls
oh,
on
no.
Apex.
Oh, all
using the
right.
Pro controller and the Joy-Cons, which was hilarious. I honestly had a blast, but I could only play like 2 rounds because it was just absolutely awful. Calamity, I tried playing Calamity, and outside of just annoying the crap out of me, playing as Zelda sucks because a lot of her things are rune-based. Playing as Impa sucks because a lot of her things is like multiple people based. So the game just slugs and trugs along to try to keep up with or the system slugs to try to keep up with the game. And that's like the biggest problem with the Switch right now. But again, like I said, they have such a loyalty from their fan base that no matter what will happen, I will always buy the newest Zelda game. Even if it is a remake of a game that I didn't even like to begin with, like Skyward Sword. I will always buy it. You know, it's awful. It really is. I think they have me brainwashed. I should sue them.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue with any of that. Like, I guess the only thing I add is like, no matter what their next console is, we know that Skyrim will be ported.
It will be ported.
Whatever
I'm
their
waiting
next
for
console
GTA to
is.
be ported to Nintendo too. When's GTA 5 coming over?
I don't know. Would they allow that? Like, does that fit their like brand? Like, their family friendly.
Well,
like,
wasn't
I mean,
there a
they
rumor
ported
that
over
they're
The
going to
Witcher.
re-release the like 3 San Andreas and Vice City?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It doesn't look perfect, but it
Doesn't look
it's
perfect,
got
but
where
it got where it counts.
we got.
What did you play The
Huge
Witcher
second.
on, Will?
I'm playing it on the PS4.
PS4.
I have it on
Will,
the
what did you play?
Xbox, and also
Xbox,
I have
yeah.
it on the Switch. But I play it all the way through on the Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's just I'm super surprised that they managed to
I
get it
don't
running
know.
on the
Yeah.
Switch.
It's
I
because like
can't-
everything looks super, like everything up close looks okay, but if you get like past like 10 feet past the character, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
turns into like watercolors.
Yeah.
Did you play it docked or undocked?
Undocked.
See, I was about to say I can't imagine playing it not in the dock.
Yeah, I don't think this is the type of game that you buy to play on TV. Like if you're buying these ports to the Switch, you're probably buying it for the handheld mode.
Somebody bought Outer Worlds today at the store, and I was talking to my boss, and my boss was like, "Man, this game's $20. That's really cheap." And I was like, "Yeah, because it's on the Switch." Like he's buying the Switch version, and he's like, "Well, I tried to tell him not to buy the Switch version," and I was like, "Yeah, no, it's because he's buying it on the Switch, and the Switch."
Outer
probably can't-
Worlds is like one of the worst ported games on the Switch.
Yes, and that's why it's so cheap. I mean, it's a relatively cheap game, anyways, but it is one of the worst ports.
Although I don't think anything tops, what is it, like Arc something Evolved.
Oh, Ark Survival Evolved.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
that one was like one of the worst ports you could do to the Switch. Oh no, I take it back. The worst game on the Switch, the entire time I've owned one, is like WWE 2K like 18, where it
I
doesn't
actually
even
respect
run.
you for like owning that, like a WWE game.
It's the only one they were able to put on the Switch, and then they ended up like refunding everybody that bought it. It
Oh
was-
man.
That's Cyberpunk. Oh my goodness.
They never figured it out. Like whatever
It's a
company was doing the
Cyberpunk too.
port, like,
Is
and there are
Cyberpunk coming
no
to Switch? That's the question.
no.
Now that's what I want to come.
Oh
to Switch.
man.
I am a fan of notoriously bad things, which is why I downloaded Apex for the Switch. I mean, come on, it wasn't playable to begin with. I can't imagine that game undocked. Oh my goodness.
All right, we need if you guys ever played a Ride to Hell Retribution,
Yeah.
yes, that's what needs you on the Switch. That needs to be remade,
Oh, man.
misunderstood classic.
I'm waiting for Ghost of Tsushima on the Switch. What are you talking about? You want to see muddy textures? Let's take a cinematic masterpiece and put it on
Yeah.
the Switch.
where like Instagram influencers bought the game solely to like take pictures of like the
Yes.
environment.
See, there were. I remember. Yeah, here it is. 3 patches, still broken.
Still
This is RGT85. He was covering this like religiously back when it came out. And if you watch, like, some of the loading of this game is so bad.
69,000 views. Nice.
Like, there's a part where it's supposed to. Look at how. This is the cutscene before it even loads up.
Oh, I
No,
thought
it
this
looks
was like
like a
the
PS
gameplay.
It looks like a PS2
This is the
game.
cutscene.
Yeah.
Yes. And then here we go. Here's
Mad
the
respect.
That's
Oh
an
wow.
N64 game.
It does look against. I've
Yeah,
played
this
this
is like-
game.
N64 game.
There's no texture. There's like what? The background is just flat. It's static.
there
Yeah.
are parts where the entire like arena disappears and like some of the wrestlers disappear.
This looks
It
like
doesn't
an indie
work.
Company made a,
Yeah, this looks like a beta release, like a student.
It's
You know, the student games
so
on Steam,
bad.
Greenlight. Like that's what it looks like.
It looks like they tried to stylize polygons.
Like,
Oh,
look at
here we
this.
go. This
He's
is
like, this arm's already
top
moving
tier
naturally. It's like, what
gameplay. This is why I play games.
When I was playing
I'll pay
Apex,
money for that.
when I was playing Apex for the Switch, I kind of like, part of me was laughing really hard, and then another part of me actually just felt bad for the people who have to play Apex on Switch because they don't have a PS4 or an Xbox. I was like, man, this just sucks. I feel just bad.
Oh, I got a question for you, Ren. Have you ever played Left 4 Dead?
No.
You should try that one.
No, yeah, I know. There's a lot of games I haven't played that my.
Well, are you
coworkers
like against like horror games? Are you really into horror games?
No,
or
horror
not
games are
really?
like my favorite genre. I just
Ooh, play Left 4 Dead.
I just don't play games that are handheld.
Yeah, I don't think Left 4
they're
Dead's
on the
handheld
Steam.
yet.
No.
It will be on the Steam Deck.
It will be.
Yeah, Back for Blood is coming out too, and that.
Yeah,
That's good. Is that
Not
going
on
to
Steam.
Switch? I can't remember.
I don't think so, but I know
Okay.
it's the same team that made Left 4 Dead because
Mhm.
they wanted to make Left 4 Dead 3 for years, and Valve would not let them. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna make our own company, and we're gonna just make the game. But then the game's still on Steam.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for it. I've
looks
already
like the same
pre-ordered
game.
yeah, I've already pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition. I've had some friends playing the beta, but I've avoided the beta just because you have to make like it's convoluted. You have to like go to their Twitch stream, get like a code, and then go to Warner Brother Games and make a Warner Brother Games account to play the beta. It's very convoluted. So I'm just waiting for the full release.
I'll let WowSuch Gaming keep doing it and showing me the game, and then I'll just follow what he does. Anyways, what I wanted to say about that was Valve. Did you guys know this? That Valve is one of the largest privately owned companies in the gaming industry.
I
That
believe
makes
it.
sense, yeah.
I believe it.
Gabe Newell is a 51% shareholder. So, like, when you say
I
Valve
believe
chose not to make Left 4 Dead 3, no, Gabe
did.
chose not
Yeah.
to
Have you ever
make
seen
Left
those
4 Dead.
compilations where it's like Half-Life 3 over time, and it's like him talking about it, like right when like Half-Life 2 came out, like, you know, like when Chapter 2 ended, and like he's like so excited, and then like the years go by, and he just gets like
Just keeps getting
grayer
like
and like
bigger
sadder,
beard.
and he's just like, someone's like, oh, Half-Life 3, and he just has this like 1,000-yard stare of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you imagine having that much power in the games industry? Like, you own Steam.
Well,
And
Steam is
Valve.
huge. Like, I mean, what competitor does Steam have? Like the Epic Game Store? I know that has had so many
Origins?
problems. Like, yeah,
Like half the games on Origin is on Steam too.
yeah.
The
Their number
Microsoft
one
Game
game,
Store,
Apex,
obviously.
is
Oh,
on
Microsoft
Steam.
Game Store. That's right.
Yes, that
I
is the
forgot.
number one competitor.
And the Nintendo eShop. The Nintendo eShop
Yeah,
on the Switch.
come on.
There we go.
Just wait until Amazon comes out with their console.
Or
Mhm.
GameStop. GameStop's
wait
trying
until
to come out.
Amazon
with
buys
Luna is
Valve.
garbage.
Just wait until Amazon buys Valve. Wait until Disney
Amazon
buys
Luna
Valve.
is
Dis-
garbage.
If Disney buys Valve, will that make Gabe Newell a Disney princess? I think it does.
I think Nintendo should hire Kaga and then port the Berwick saga.
Just to spite Nintendo, like, this is what we want. Like,
Imagine that you're Gabe Newell, but you're the Gabe Newell of Nintendo. What's your next move in the Fire Emblem franchise?
so Miyamoto, like, is that who's still in charge? Of
Yeah, but
Nintendo?
your Miyamoto have 50% of the stock of the company. So, like, your decision will go through.
If
what's
I were
your
to
decision?
design my perfect Fire Emblem game, like, Ooh, man, I wouldn't want to remake it. I'd want to make like an original one. And I'd kind of want to go down the more mature path that kind of like Three Houses started going down. Not like too crazy, like, but maybe something, you know, on the lines of say something like Skyrim or like The Witcher or, you know, I don't know. I'd have to like think about it, but I'd definitely keep some things from Three Houses, like the customization of like classes and things like that. Maybe not the social aspects, but like it would just need a really good story. Like it would, like I would just be like, let's focus on like making an amazing story and an amazing protagonist for the player to play as, because that's something that I feel like has been lacking.
Yes. Like the protagonist doesn't have to be me. I'm okay with it not being.
Yeah, we don't have to be ourselves. Like.
No, but then you wouldn't be able to marry the girls. Come on.
Oh dang! Yeah, you're right.
That's what saved the franchise.
Yeah.
Gotta save Fire Emblem. Anyway, what would your biggest change to the franchise be? Like, what game of the modern era are you like? Okay, this was a good game. I want to build off this.
Three Houses is what I would build off of, and I know Ryn and I would disagree on that, but like
yeah,
that
I'm
one,
trying to like
Three Houses is what I would build off of.
I'm trying to think.
Like, but what I would do instead of say like a school is like maybe I would go like the Path of Radiance route. Like, say you're a mercenary company,
And you got the guild,
and like you're like a guild or something, and like you are running this group of like mercenaries, and you get caught up in like a bigger conflict, kind of like a traditional Fire Emblem game.
Honestly, I would probably make it a lot like Echoes and have each individual place still have that social aspect of being able to talk to your units, but have each individual place not necessarily 3D models, just have it little flat.
Oh yeah, where it's like just like good art of the character.
Yeah,
like,
so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
So the excuse of like, oh, but 3D models and making an entire 3D landscape is hard. Well, no, I don't need that. Like, I just want a good conversation between myself and the army, you know, or unique conversations between me and the villagers that I just saved their lives, you know.
Yeah.
I would much rather have that over like a monastery where I have to go eat a cajillion times.
So I want to expand upon what you're saying, Ryn, on that one. Imagine if when you were playing Three Houses, as if it had the overworld style map, like for decision making, and you could play all three routes at once, playing all three characters, making decisions that affect the other routes.
Ooh, that'd be so tricky, but that would be cool.
It would
if they
be.
could pull that out. Yeah.
But like, I love the idea of like where you're in Echoes and you're controlling two different parties at the same time, and you could have the ability to influence each other if you wanted to do it that way. And I think Three Houses would be an epic way to introduce that element.
In Three Houses, it kind of sounds like, because I mean, you're playing one army against kind of two other armies in some of the game, and just kind of one army. So for me, it would be like looking at like when I was in high school, I used to do a really sad thing, which was play Yu-Gi-Oh against myself. But I would never actually be able to play against myself because I'd be like, oh, I know what trap is there. So if I lay this card, I'm just going to activate my own trap, you know?
Feel like
so I'd
I'm
always
the
be
AI.
rooting for one particular
You
person.
are the AI, yeah.
I would be rooting for one deck, even though I'm trying to like balance the decks out. So I wouldn't be able to do that. So for me, I would just screw over Edelgard as best as I could because I think it'd be funny.
Krill Emblem. Oh, geez.
Krill Emblem, Three Houses. Yeah, I loved Three Houses, and I think like if that's the route they do decide to go down, definitely there are improvements to be made. Like I know, definitely some things were very rushed. Like Crimson Flower before the Yuritsa patch was very rough. I will say, even as somebody who enjoyed that route, it's very like, wow, there's just like large sections of the story that are just not here. But then like some stuff they did really well in Three Houses, like Dimitri as a character and his arc as a lord was probably my favorite, I would say. Claude was fun. It was actually kind of nice that there's just kind of like a giant meme route. Like Ryn has played it, and Chris, I don't know how much of Three Houses you've played, but like, you know, when you're doing like Crimson Flower and like you know, Azure Moon, like after the time skip, it's like super dramatic. And then like Claude's like, hey Teach, let's go eat. Like, let's get some food. Like, I haven't seen you in 5 years. It's like there's so many parts in Golden Deer where I just like laughed, where I was like, this is hilarious. This is really funny.
I think you know, I was going somewhere with that sentence and then I forgot midway. Within 2 words, I forgot where I was going. That's one.
You know what?
It happens.
Something about
I feel you.
Three Houses, I guess.
Something, Three Houses, something, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, Rin. I got you. I do think that the overworld map works well with Fire Emblem, and
I
I
would
wish
agree.
we had more of that.
I would agree.
Another thing, I like the dungeon crawling and echoes a lot.
Well, I kind of like that, and I kind of don't like it because it's just the same map over and over again with different enemies.
It's kind of like Three Houses, though.
It's kind of like It's kind of like being able to do an infinite number of auxiliary battles in Three Houses.
Yes, yeah.
Except for in Three Houses, it's more annoying because the map isn't as big.
Yeah,
or the map is bigger.
I did like that you were limited in auxiliary battles because like I played it on normal classic first, where you have unlimited, and it kind of felt like Sacred Stones to me, where you can just go to the tower whenever and just grind, and like that was something that I liked about the earlier Fire Emblem games. It's like you really had to like choose your team, whereas like in Three Houses, you can train everybody pretty much if you want to.
And you could use Mecha's infinite week playthrough thing.
Yeah, the infinite week playthrough.
Honestly, probably something I would change about Three Houses is polishing up the graphics a lot and changing the animations.
Yeah.
The animations are so boring in Three Houses, especially compared to GBA
some of them
games.
Were cool. Yeah.
Well, but most of them, and it's mainly because it's 3D models. You can only do so much cool stuff with the 3D model, whereas with you have a pixel or like a 2D flat model, you can exaggerate proportions and still make them look normal. But the animations are like a slight thing. The models in the game suck though. Like
they are better than the Path Radiance models, where it's just
the excuse for that though is that you're not constantly seeing Path Radiance models in like a setting where you're talking to them or running around.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like in Three Houses, you are. In Three Houses, I can see pixels on the little like design. Shirts. Their hands look like gloves. I hate that.
Yeah, it would have been cool too because like as someone who's played the game like 400 hours, you can definitely tell like the models use the same animations, and it's like really strange. Like it definitely started to become like that uncanny valley.
Yes.
And it's only certain like in combat stuff that's like different. And I don't know if you guys like watch Josiah, the voice of Claude, but he did like a video where he did like the stunts like in real life, and I was like, that's cool. Like
in like I guess like in real life it would look really cool, but because it's animation and that they
can be exaggerated.
Further, it makes it really boring, especially compared to the older Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, well, some of the animations I felt did have the flair, like the Wyvern Lord crit, where the whole Wyvern does like a flip and you land on the guy. Like I like that one too. I was like, that's like exagerated and like really cool.
But the Pegasus Knight one is you just like going around the character.
Yeah, you fly in a circle and stab them.
The crit for a Dark Flyer is just it's boring, and I'm like,
the mage crits are pretty boring.
And I'm like, I'm a DLC character. I should have a very cool animation crit.
Yeah, the sword characters are pretty bland as well. Like I miss the Swordmaster crits from the GBA where you have like these like copies.
Yeah, Link crit is super cool, and they incorporated her
that is a cool
into Warriors too, and it looked really, really cool. And then you just have Three Houses, and it's like
a feature you'd want to see implemented or brought back. Marriage function.
I was gonna say Hizzy Hay has a question. He says, "What's a feature you want to see implemented or brought back?" Personally, he wants the marriage function back. New one would be consequences for not connecting with characters, leaving the party, join evil.
Yeah. I like that.
The only game I've ever seen where a character leaves your party and joins the evil team, the bad guys, whatever you want to call them. Sacred Stones. Remember that one character? Orson and he leaves your team, becomes a bad guy boss.
In Crimson Flower, Flame leaves, and I gotta say, murdering Flame in Crimson Flower was the most satisfying thing I think I've ever done in a game. I hated Flame as a character.
I'm saying a character that was like you didn't have like any thoughts about before the person turned on you. Like Orson was
in Echoes. You have that choice between Sonya and the other guy. I see. I refer to him as the other guy because nobody recruits him.
They do that little bit, like, and I wish they had like hardball stuck with it. In Path of Radiance, like when Grail dies, like Sheena and Gatry just leave. They're like, we're out.
That's
like we're not interested anymore. Like that would be cool to see. Like or like Pent and Louise. Like if a character dies, maybe another character like leaves.
Yeah, that's a good.
Or
point.
If you don't get people like certain supports, maybe they leave. Like that would be cool. Like
I mean, they do kind of do it in Three Houses though.
Yeah.
I guess now that Chris is gone, I can say it. If you don't do Deduce Paralog, he just dies.
Yeah, he dies. Like,
or if you don't recruit Marianne, she just dies.
She just dies too. And same with Raphael. Raphael Raphael never comes back.
Bernadetta dies in front of you by Edelgard if you don't recruit her.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that meme where it's like Edelgard and Crimson Flower, and she's like, "I would die." Like these friends have like taught me the value of like loving others, and I would die for them. And it's like Edelgard and other. It's like, okay, Bernie, it's time to be set on fire.
It really is. Yeah, she just kind of dies for Edelgard. It's ridiculous. But so Three Houses does have a lot of that.
Yeah, and like Three Houses.
Aspect.
They could have gone even more. Like something, it's been brought up in a few videos that I've watched in like articles and like Reddit things. It's like Lysithea should always join the Empire. Like she has a vested interest in like curing her curse, which Edelgard is trying to do, and like overthrow the crest system. Like that would have been interesting to see. Is like depending on what happens if some characters like leave your house based on like things, or if they're in another house, if they like join another side. Like that would have been cool. Like
it'd be cool if like she did that had she talked to Edelgard enough. Like and not even you, if it was an Edelgard based support system. Because Edelgard's the one that's like, hey, you look like me. That's weird.
Yeah, she is the catalyst of a lot of things happening. In that game.
But then you also have like situations where if you're Lorenz and you play Blue Lions, you have to re-recruit him post time skip. And then Ash if you play Golden Deer.
And Lysithea if you pay Crimson Flower. It was just what I did. And I did it on accident. Because I like did the talk and I was like, oh, I guess I have to kill you. And I was like, oh, I get to spare you? Awesome. Like, let's go.
There's that character in Fates where if you don't have a high enough support with them, then they end up dying to save you. I'm trying to remember who it is.
The green-haired ninja guy, right?
He's like an assassin or something. Yeah. If you don't have a high enough support with him, then he dies. It's like, whoa, I didn't know that the first time I played through. And then I found out you could save him. I was like, no, I would have saved him. Yeah,
that was something that was cool about Dedue, was like, if you didn't. But like, I did that, and I like, it had been spoiled for me at that point, because I had seen Bismix's video where he's like, oh, the Dedue paralogue? There's a Dedue paralogue.
The paralogue sucks, too. I hate that map.
Some of the paralogs are brutally difficult. Like, the Anna paralogue on Maddening sucked. Like where you have where you're in the woods and like the bow knights like come in on like all sides. Like, oh, we're ambush spawns now, so we can just shoot you endlessly.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you guys one more question.
Yeah.
To kind of end this stream. Like, how is Fire Emblem in 2021? And where would you like to see it going forward in regards to anything?
A new game. That's it.
Yeah, what Ryn said.
Just
like, I hope, because I feel like with Three Houses, like with everything that's great about it and the things that can be improved about it, it has built up huge momentum for the franchise, and I hope they carry that momentum and like keep it going. That's all I want.
What would be too long of a wait for the next game? Like Nintendo says, okay, we're gonna put Fire Emblem on the back burner. At what point does the interest just start to die?
Well, I don't know if the interest will ever really die. Like, I mean, if you think about it, like the Fire Emblem community, like, mainstream. Yeah. Right, oh, and sort of the mainstream death, like maybe 2025, like 4 more years. Like
my counter argument is that now because of the internet, it's a lot harder for things to die. There's always going to be somebody making new content, and one day that video could just blow up and get millions of views.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's almost impossible for a main series game to die now because the internet just exists, and there's always going to be like a set group of people making
absolutely.
content. My other thing is that if as an update would be nice, but as long as they're going to output a great game, I'm willing to wait as long as I need to. Like Cyberpunk, people raged over how that game was pushed back, and then when it came out, it sucked. Like,
it was like half finished. Like,
yeah, and I'm like, okay, shut up then. I don't want to ever hear you say anything about a game being pushed back ever again, because it's your fault that the game had to come out now and it was an unfinished game. Like, it's your fault that you have to go through like 5 gigabytes of updates because you made a little hissy fit about a game coming out now when it should have came out when it was ready to come out, which should have been a PS5 exclusive, honestly, or a PS5 Xbox Series X kind of game.
Yeah,
I was gonna say exclusive. Why?
Yeah, I hope they take their time, because it's sort of like, and Ryn, I'm sure you see this, as somebody who works like selling games, like so many games, it's like become normal for, it's like, oh, we're shipping a game unfinished and we'll just like have a day 1 patch or like something. And that's so bizarre to me, like that's sort of the norm now.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's kind of like my main if with Animal Crossing, I'm just not into games like that. I have figured out. now. I don't like Stardew Valley that much. I don't like Animal Crossing. That's just a thing. But with this most recent game, Animal Crossing New Horizons, it does not have nearly as much as the original Animal Crossing New Leaf had, and New Leaf was significantly cheaper than Animal Crossing New Horizons is. And I think that's just ridiculously stupid. I think it's stupid that you have to wait like timed like not even DLC, just updates. That they're just like, we had this ready when the game came out. We're just making it to where you can't time skip.
Yeah.
No, it's dumb. Let me just. I bought the game for $60. Let me play the game how I want to play it, not how you dictate I should play it. That's so dumb. It's like when people argued that Sekiro, I think, made a patch to where it had different difficulty levels, and people were like, "No, that's dumb. You should play it the way the developers intended to be played." No, you should just be happy that people are playing the game and the developers are getting money. Like, if you like the game, let the developers just get more money.
Yeah,
that
agreed.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I think Nintendo is still pretty good at releasing a fully featured, fully done game as opposed to other publishers. But in general speaking, wait, wait a second. What does it say? You think the
Fae channel going to drop?
It did not.
Like what now? Oh, okay. Were you thinking it was going to drop tonight? Is that what?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to drop, and then it just didn't.
Okay.
And I was
Anyways.
like, oh,
well, I would have cut the stream for you to go do your banner review if you had.
Oh
to.
no, it didn't drop.
No, I'm saying if it would have happened, I would have been like, okay.
Oh well.
Rin's gonna drop to do her banner, so
yeah, I'll probably.
Because I know those are important for your channel.
Yeah, I'll probably go to bed too. I have work in the morning, so it's like 11:15 my time. So.
Right. That's why I'm getting ready to cut it. But what I was gonna say was I think Nintendo does a good job actually releasing fully featured games. Like Fire Emblem doesn't seem to be in jeopardy of having that issue, at least current Nintendo right now.
No, I will say the DLCs are kind of meh. Like the sauna DLC and the models in the sauna just look awful. And
yeah,
it's
the
like
sauna is bizarre.
Like you have to pay for that. I shouldn't have to pay for crappy models. I shouldn't have to pay for a crappy maid outfit. No, they added an entire new like building. It's the sauna.
Yeah,
building.
the sauna.
It's in a base game. You just can't access it unless you have the DLC.
Yeah,
in 3 houses.
Yeah, and it has like
Did I miss? When did they add that?
It was one of the packs. I think you get it with Cindered Shadows, though, don't you?
Because I got Cindered Shadows.
Yeah. But it's still like dumb. I don't know. I'm mad that I had like the models just look so bad.
Yeah, it's weird. Like
so
everyone
bad.
sits really funny. Like the sauna, I think is the funniest thing. Like if you're a man, you're like man spreading, like out, like all the. And if you're a girl, it's like like tied up, must cover herself. Like
you know, it's weird because I guess I got to give them props for not going into the whole like. Let's just go fan service with it.
Yes, I do appreciate that it was like a real medieval.
But I just don't know why they didn't. Like, at least put them in like towels, I guess.
Yeah,
like, that's not that bad.
Well, they're in like gym clothes, I guess. Like
they're in their like volleyball outfits.
Yeah, the basketball outfits like that.
I think the weirdest like quote unquote fan service that I think Nintendo's ever done is allowing you to buy a towel outfit in Fates that you can't actually wear.
I was gonna say
when
there's that controversy back in Heroes when they sexed up Elise at that sauna.
I was about to say
like that was weird. I was like,
I was about to say just
no.
Yeah.
Heroes in general.
Well, Heroes is its own thing. Okay, it's kind of doing its own thing most of the time. And it's got its own controversy.
Yeah,
but in Fire Emblem Fates, you can literally buy like this towel outfit that you can't actually have any of your characters wear in any meaningful way whatsoever. Like if you wanted this weird fan service with the towel, you couldn't even have it. And like you're not battling in a towel, but it's supposedly what you're wearing. I don't know how it's bizarre to me. Like, okay, look, you can see it when you select it and that's it. It's like, what's the point of this? Like, why does this exist? Exactly. I'm like, like I almost wanted to see.
It makes great DLC.
I wanted to see like the comical battle of like somebody in a towel fighting somebody in full armor. That's what I wanted to see.
No, but instead you get
that's what I wanted to see.
You get specific axes that rip off the clothing of the people you hurt.
Oh yes, yeah.
So come on, or you get brooms.
I don't.
You saw the daikon as a weapon.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
yeah. There's like an axe that you can get that'll just rip off clothing of your enemies, or they'll have it too. So your like clothing will just fall off your character.
Is this in here? Oh, Fates, really?
Yeah.
Didn't they
I did
do
not
something
know
like that
that.
in Warriors too? I recently got Warriors a couple months ago, and didn't they have like some DLC like
I have
swimsuits or
Warriors, but
something?
they definitely, yeah, I think they have a couple
Yeah, okay,
Fredericks in it,
that's
I
what I'm
think,
thinking.
and stuff.
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't, I haven't played Warriors. I have it, I just,
Mhm.
Well, I just wanted to give you guys your last opportunity to say something before the stream concludes,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna tell everybody to go subscribe and then buy Eric's book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
He's an
book out.
author now.
Yeah.
So, Rin, is there anything else you wanted to say before we cut the stream?
No, I'm just looking at my thumbnails. No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
The guys, go subscribe to youtube.com/RYN. That's Rin, but it's Ryntai if you go on there. I've always been meaning to ask you about that name change, but I'm not going to ask right this minute.
Rin, it's very simple. It's because every time you searched up my name, this like multi-million, I could never reach what kind of quantity of money he has, kid named Ryan would pop up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now I have Ryntai. It's the last part of my name and the last part of the word hentai combined.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, it's explained. It's explained in the amount of detail I expect. Actually, that's kind of what I thought. I'm not gonna lie. Eric, how about you? What do you want to plug your book?
Yeah, because I'm not I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not active on it at all. Yeah, I mostly just post like random stuff there, like maybe once a year. But yeah, I have a book out now. It's called Vampires. It is a horror novel. There are no actual vampires in it. If you're interested in it, you can check it out on Amazon. The paperback is for sale right now. You can get the ebook now too, but it doesn't drop until September 1st. So yeah.
Yeah, and as Eric is a close friend of myself and the channel, I highly recommend you go check his book out. I meant to plug it in the beginning and I forgot, but
we're having a whole stream about it.
We're
like
having a full-blown interview with him about his book on September 4th.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's wondering, next week is Zelda week. We're going to be discussing Zelda, and I was going to say, Rin, you're welcome to come back if you want to talk Zelda with myself and Hylian Cast, and then it's Game Over Jesse. I don't know if you watch him or not.
I don't know, but I'd
Hard
like
for Games.
Maybe.
Okay.
I work, and on Monday is my birthday, so I have to.
Oh, happy
figure some
birthday!
stuff out.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday. So yeah, next Saturday is the Zelda cast. Anybody interested in that? Hop on.
Well, we're gonna have to
and make sure you guys wish Rin a happy I can't point. Rin a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Wherever she is on the screen. And we'll see you guys on the next Grillcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, toodles.
All right. Yes. Thanks for watching, streamers. People watching live stream. Thank you.
Yeah.